continuing the halachot of Derech Eretz, how to have respect towards one another. Obviously, after Tisha B'Av, I hope we're all working on the inyan of having respect towards another, our respect towards Hashem, v'chulei. So, it starts off with a story with the Chazon Ish. Chazon Ish was once at a Brit Milah, and unfortunately, things were happening that he wasn't able to start the Brit. And a certain Zaken, he says a certain elderly person got up and he started telling over Divrei Torah. And obviously at a Brit, everyone is sitting at their own tables, chatting with their friends, and no one was listening to him. So the Chazon Ish made a specific effort to look at the guy, stare at the guy, and pay attention to show him that he's show him different emotions and stuff. And at the end he says a big Amen. So everyone realized that the Chazon Ish was listening to the Shiur. Obviously he did this in order to say to everyone else that they should have been listening to also to the Shiur. So the Rav says here, when a rabbi or the Chacham is giving a drasha in the Beit HaKnesset, between Mincha and Arvit, he says, Ein ze Derech Eretz layen b'sefer. It's not Derech Eretz, it's not respectful to be looking down at a specific book and to read your own book while he's speaking, and all the more so to speak to a friend, right? Obviously it's not respectful to speak while someone else is speaking. This is Pshita. So then he says, "Uvadai she'en latzet minchutz lebet knesset." Oh, what about leaving? I don't have to talk in front of him. Let me just go outside. He says, all the more so to go outside, to go speak to your friends, or to go to the telephone. He says, or to smoke a cigarette. He says, because at the time that the Chacham is about to give a drasha or whatever, a Divrei Torah, he says he finds it, a little offensive that a person's walking out right before. I prepared something, and all of a sudden you're walking out. So he says the same thing with Shabbat morning, when people sometimes they read their daily Tehillim while the rabbi is speaking. He says this is definitely not the way to do this. Obviously, he also says, very interesting chidush. He says the people who walk out, or the people who are reading their books, he says the fact that they're not showing attention is causing others not to pay attention. When everyone's paying attention, you're paying attention. When other people aren't paying attention, okay, so if they're not paying attention, it's probably not worth it anyways, so I'm not going to listen. So he says, Harehem machshilim et rabim. God forbid these people who walk out of the shul and things like that can be machshil the rabim, they could be causing other people to sin. And God forbid they could be doing the prohibition of the Torah of don't put a stumbling block in front of your friend. He says also the people who fall asleep when people are speaking, he says they should have to be smart. If you know you fall asleep when people are speaking, don't sit in front of the rabbi. Because it's chalishut hadat, the rabbi is speaking, he's prepared something, and all of a sudden the guy in front of him is sleeping, God forbid. So he says, be smart, sit on the side, sit in the back, sit somewhere you're not gonna see him. And he says, and if he's gonna see you, ideally that you walk out way before he's gonna speak, so it won't be any sort of bad feelings. If your friend asks you, have you heard this chidush on this specific chidush, and you already heard this chidush 10 times, are you allowed to lie, so to speak, change the truth, and say, no, I've never heard that chidush? To have him say it with enthusiasm. The answer is, they asked the Gaon Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, and he said, let's say for example, someone needs a ride, but he's not gonna be matrich, he's not gonna burden you to take him to where he needs to go because it's the opposite direction. He says you're allowed to lie and say, no, I'm exactly going that way. I'm actually going right past your house. It's perfect. It's a perfect situation. He says you're allowed to lie for such a thing. Over here, same exact situation. If a person says a story, you shouldn't say, I heard that story already. That's the worst feeling in the world. I feel like I wasted your time. A person hears a Dvar Torah. Don't say, I heard that already 5 times, I've heard it. Wow, that's amazing. That's such a great Dvar Torah. Baruch Hashem, Tiskul Mitzvot. To make a person excited while saying over Divrei Torah. May B'ezrat Hashem have a great day.